Hello and welcome to Cueless. Last week, head honchos at the BBC and World Snooker Tour got together and over a ploughman's lunch agreed that snooker needed a fresh sound. The F1 has the Chain by Fleetwood Mac. Football has the Match of the Day theme. Tennis has that song from Wimbledon. And skiing has the Ski Sunday theme. But what about snooker? Surely a catchy theme would help appeal to younger fans. Something to play at the school discos. Heck, even dance to on TikTok. Ken Doherty was the first to speak. I'm mates with Kneecap, he suggested. I live next to Ringo's cousin, John Parrott added. Just use Snooker Loopy, said Barry Hearn. My band The Utopia Strong could do it, added Steve Davis with an enthusiasm that just came across as needy. I've got it, lads, Rob Walker said, striding back into the pub and zipping up his flies after a post-ploughman's poo. He grabbed his phone and opened FaceTime. There was only one man for the job. That's right. BBC stalwart and bigwig of boogie himself, Jules Holland. Jules answered topless, wearing nothing but a pair of leopard print Y-fronts and a matching fez. What do you want, you lanky streak of piss? Holland slurred. Jules, we need you. We need a new song for the snooker coverage, one that's going to get the kids moving, Walker responded. Fine, this is the last time I write a song for you, Walker, you long-legged shite stain. And if you don't pay me again, I'm going to keep that leaf blower you lent me. Jules drained his can of special brew and chucked it with a clang onto the pile before sitting down at his grand piano. After adjusting his nethers, the Sovereign of Swing started hammering away on the ivories, and the hip new beats of TV snooker coverage came alive, and I, for one, cannot wait to hear the shooby-wooby snooker shaking boogie-woogie blackball bop during next year's Triple Crown coverage. Welcome to Cueless.
Welcome to Cueless. I had no idea Ben was going to do that.
I'm just reporting the news of the week. They decided that snooker needed a fresh sound.
And did he boogie-woogie all over it?
Yeah, I think that's something that's going to get younger people interested in snooker. There's a bit of
I don't know if Jules Holland likes the snooker.
Boogie woogie. I'd be surprised if he didn't. He seems like a snooker fan.
Yeah, he's the right kind of age.
He did get thrown out of the World Championships last year because leopard print Y-fronts and matching fez aren't appropriate attire. They were getting in it was getting in the eye line.
It was getting in the eye line. You enjoying the World Championships?
I'm loving the World Championships.
It's come back around.
I'm loving the World Championships.
There's something beautiful about it. I'm eating grapes, by the way. Anyone, if you're on Spotify and you can't see it on YouTube that I'm eating grapes, that sound, that horrid sound that I'm making, that's me eating grapes.
Grapes.
I've got a punnet full.
A punnet full of grapes. Well, it's been a good start to World Championships. We're recording this on Tuesday.
Sorry, just a bit more information on the grapes. I've taken the film lid off the top, so there's no going back.
But no, there's no going back now. That's it.
There's no going back. They're open.
That is commitment to sound quality, though. No rustling
exactly.
here.
No rustling over here. We're recording this right after Ronnie's basically played his first session at 6:30 on the Tuesday.
Yeah, 5. Should we talk about that briefly?
Hit me with some running. So what was it in the end? 5-4?
5-4. Yeah, it should have been Ali Carter firmly in charge of a session, but he just kept letting Ronnie in.
Yeah.
Ronnie couldn't really hit a long pot. He hit one towards the end of the session, which was quite impressive, but he just kept letting Ali Carter in, and Ali Carter just wasn't punishing him. He wasn't winning frames in one visit. He was letting Ronnie come back to the table. The more you let him come back to the table and, get his arm moving, the more he's going to play himself into the session, the better he's going to play. So Ali Carter perhaps also a bit lucky to go in 5-4 because Ronnie obviously missing some long pots, which is to be expected. He's not at his best, but it was...
I think when he was... Sorry,
it was an entertaining session of snooker. It wasn't particularly good quality, but it was entertaining.
No, it wasn't. On the other side of the crucible, there was some high quality stuff. Zach Shorty packing in 4 centuries in 5 frames, I think it was. But sorry, back onto Ronnie. I think the thing that was most interesting is when he was in and around the black, and in amongst the Reds, as they say.
Yeah.
He looked like $1 million. He'd never been away.
Yeah.
There was a few shots that were a bit sort of... His touch wasn't quite there and stuff at the start, but actually, he looked great.
He looked really
pots.
Confident, yeah. When he was in around those blacks,
about
the black, yeah.
Why Ali was giving him those chances almost. Like,
yeah.
you should be trying to leave him on long. He clearly didn't have a long game.
Yeah, no.
But I'm sure it'll come. I was honestly, and even though didn't look amazing, I was pleasantly surprised. I genuinely expected worse. I know that sounds stupid because it's Ronnie O'Sullivan, but I actually did expect worse. I think he talks himself down so much that it's quite easy to believe it sometimes.
Yeah,
he's constantly just talking himself down.
Do you think that's possibly sort of getting Ali Carter's head a bit? I don't know. But even then, there's no excuse to be. If you're Ali Carter, you've just got to. You've got to put him out of the game and win frames in one visit, and he wasn't doing that.
I don't know. I think there's only so much you can do against a player like that, and I think if you're just going to keep giving him chances, it's just always going to backfire. In terms of like Ronnie O'Sullivan, I was just shocked that he actually still had. I mean, obviously he made a century, didn't he? And I was just shocked.
Yeah,
there's a few players that have shocked me this week, and it proves. It's been said a lot, especially by Steve Davis, that form means kind of fuck all coming to the Crucible.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, who's the informed players coming in? John Higgins, probably Mark Selby.
Yeah.
Karen Wilson, Judd Trump. Realistically,
Karen
they
Wilson
probably are the
was,
four.
yeah.
And we'll get onto that. But and then realistically, none of that matters.
Yeah.
We've not seen Selby
Shall we discuss Karen Wilson a bit? That was obviously the big news.
Yeah. Let's start right at the start. It's 10-9. Lee Pai Fan.
Yeah.
Honestly, and let's just forget that it's Karen Wilson for a second. And I don't think too much should be said against Karen Wilson. I think this should be more of a praise for Lee Pai Fan because he was ace. He was really good.
He was really, really, really good.
So he was the first session was 6-2 to Karen Wilson. The next 7 frames were won by Lee Pai Fan, so it went 9-6. Yeah. It then went to 9-9, and then there was a 66 break by Lee Pai Fan under pretty much as much pressure as you could possibly get. First evening at the Crucible, against the reigning champ, 9-all. That's pressure, and he nailed it.
He did.
22,
he really did.
I think he is another young Chinese guy that looks $1 million. It's the pressure stuff that they can just nail. They just seem to have that inbuilt.
I was about to say that.
Calmness.
He was coping with pressure really well. He looked so calm and cool, and between 7 on the trot, it was.
I know that's not
really
against Karen Wilson though. That's that's the impression. I mean, Karen Wilson wasn't at his best, but Karen Wilson not at his best is still. Pretty good.
Well, he's like you mentioned, he's probably the informed player of the season.
Yeah,
in terms of he's he obviously off the back of a world title, he's gone on and won. Was it 4?
Yeah, 4. He's won 4 titles this year. Yeah,
4 titles this year and 2 finals as well as that.
That's it, and it's been his best season, regardless of the World Championship anyway. But yeah, Karen Wilson's a goner. Saw him in commentary today. He looked fairly chilled. I suppose he planned to be in Sheffield for a bit longer, so they've shoved him into commentary. Yeah. It's fun to see what players pop up in commentary. There's quite a lot of controversy around that.
Yeah, he kept talking about Ronnie O'Sullivan's ferrule.
Yes.
Did you see that? He was forcing this debate about whether he was playing with a titanium ferrule. It's like, I was watching it thinking, I really like snooker, but I do not care.
I know. I mean,
it was interesting for maybe a 2-minute chat.
It's very difficult to be that interested in that sort of stuff. Sure.
I know. Yeah.
It's fairly interesting, but they really went on about it.
If it had been a quick 2-minute chat about Ronnie's getting used to a new cue, he's got a new ferrule on it. This is what the titanium ferrule does to your play. Move on. It kept bringing it back. It was like, no one cares, Kyron.
Because Steve Interesting Davis really lived up to his nickname in that moment. But he did not shut up about how different a titanium throw can feel.
It throws the ball.
It throws the ball. It feels like you've got a new arm, he said at one point. But anyway, next game. And boy, do I want to talk about this guy. I'm going to spotlight
Hit me.
two people along here. Zhao Guodong versus Matt Sao. He's awesome. He looked great against Matt Sao.
He did look great, yeah. He looked great a few weeks ago as well. I can't remember what tournament it was.
He looked really good against Matt Sao. And Matt Sao didn't put much up.
Yeah, no, he didn't really. He didn't.
But he's had a great series. He's had a great year, Zhao Guodong, and I can see him. Who's he got in the draw coming?
He's got John Higgins coming up.
I can see him win. There's a world where Zhao Guodong gets through that, I think.
See, I'm surprised by you saying you think you can go all the way. I think I'll start to be convinced by that.
There's two Chinese players in there that I think. There's two Chinese players in there that I think have got the game to go all the way. One is I think Zhao Guodong can do it. Ding on his days, should have already done it. Yeah. And the other is Zhao Xintong. Obviously, he started from the very first round in qualifying.
Yes. I'll briefly talk about that for a second, man. Zhao Xintong absolutely steamrolled Jack Jones.
Absolutely, like proper reality check.
I think it's perhaps starting to look a lot like Jack Jones's run to the final last year was a miracle.
Yeah, a miracle.
He's had a really poor season.
Good thing to note.
He didn't put
much
of a fight at all. He looked pretty poor, to be honest.
And I like Jack Jones. He's got to be one of the strangest players to be in the top 16 in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that had to do with his the final.
Yeah. But that's the only reason why he's come here as a seed, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I say come here like we're in Sheffield. We're not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But Zhao Xintong in the next round plays Lei Paifan, who I thought was great against Karen Wilson. I'll be backing Lei Paifan all the way.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the fact that I'll put my money where my mouth is and say I think that if you're found guilty of being involved in match fixing, you shouldn't be allowed to play the sport again.
Well,
so I'd very much like to see Lei Paifan win that.
Yeah,
but I do see what you mean. That Zhao Xintong looks like he can go all the way because he looked pretty great, but
look, I mean, obviously,
not particularly stiff opposition.
No, not at all. But I see your point with the whole. So obviously, Zhao Xintong was found guilty of match fixing, had his time out. I suppose there's always gonna be people that sit on the fence of that sort of stuff, and people that have varying opinions on what the actual punishment would be. The punishment was what it was, and regardless of who he is, I would say the snooker that he's actually playing. So 9 50+ breaks, 142 highest break.
Yeah.
The standard, he is sort of top 5, 6.
Yeah.
Players in the world standard, and it's sad. It's more than anything.
Yeah, it is disappointing, but
it is disappointing.
Before that, he was a player of such high potential. He'd won the UK.
But now, no matter what happens, there will always be that sort of
his card's marked by that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is, and that is a real shame. That obviously he's paid the price. I don't think the price isn't necessarily having the ban or anything. It's just for all snooker fans. Yeah. He will now be known as the guy that happened to. Yeah. But enough about that. Mark Williams.
Mark Williams.
10-8. 10-8 against Wu Yi's.
Yeah. I was excited by that game. I really like Wu Yi's. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, he's fun, man. He potted a pink. Yeah. Oh my god. I know it doesn't sound that interesting, but it was just a pink to make a clearance, and Christ almighty. It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mark Williams just has look really good. He looks so cool, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does look cool.
He just sort of he just doesn't look like he's too bothered.
No.
It's that sort of effortless cool he has, where he just looks so calm, and That's why I think he's so popular. That's why I love him, because he just looks like
Yeah, no, he's one of my favourite players. Purely
Talking
because
about-
of that sort of...
carry on, it's fine.
I think he's just got that air of just... I know all the class of 92 have it. He's just got it in abundance. That air of like... Just... It's just something about him.
Yeah.
He's just like... It doesn't matter if he's playing good snooker. That's not the point about him. It's the sort of snooker brain and the just... When it comes to it... Like, was it 8-8, I think?
I think so, yeah. And he
and when it came to it... He just pulled 2 breaks out of it and was like, yeah, it's 10-8, boom.
Well, that was the same with John
next
Higgins against Joe O'Connor, and it was 7-all, and then John Higgins just
weird
starts
game
to pull away. It was a weird game for a lot of it. I thought Joe O'Connor was on top.
He was a better player.
And then John Higgins just started. Yeah, he started pulling it out, but at the same time, Joe O'Connor started capitulating a little bit, I thought.
Yeah. No, he wasn't great under pressure, was he?
No.
I think there's big things to come from Joe O'Connor. I can see him winning a few
well. I think there is.
big titles, I reckon. He's got the game.
He's got the confidence as well. In an interview with BBC,
also, I think
he said
he's
that he thinks he can win it.
Yeah.
And why not? Why not? And
the best game... Sorry, you go on.
I was going to say, talking about... our favourites, fave of the pod, the Thunder from Down Under.
This is
Neil Robertson. What a game! Neil Robertson gets Chris Wakelin.
Best game so far by an absolute mile. Yeah. Did you watch the last session of it?
I did. Yeah.
Did you see? Oh, you will have that shot. Chris Wakelin's played a positional shot, right? And there's a red ball very close to the black, which is on the black spot, and so he's potted the black from somewhere that wasn't on the black spot, and basically Neil Robertson, in a previous go, had left the black because I think he'd realised that when it would be respotted, it wouldn't pot or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
So
pot
then Chris Wakelin
the black
has
was out
potted
of
the
commission
black
by the red ball. Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Wakelin pots the black, and then the ref puts it straight back on the black spot, and then he realises what he's just done.
Yeah.
Because he's played for position on it.
Was
so
that
red
the last
now doesn't
frame?
pot. That was to take it to 9-8, I think.
Yeah.
Or was that to take it to 8? I think that would have made it 9-9, I think.
Yeah, because the last frame was absolutely mental. Like everything happened. There was 7-point snookers. There was
an insane shot from Neil Robertson where there was a red ball over the pocket, over the sort of the left-hand side pocket near the black, and he's potted a long pot, and basically he can't see the red ball, but he's hit into this ball.
Yeah.
So that when the white ball deflects off it'll go into the ball over the pocket.
I mean, it would have been it'd have been an insane pot. I mean, it
would have. And he got it in, but then the white ball fell in as well, and you just like that's genuinely unlucky.
It's so unlucky.
But I think Wakelin was had a significant lead, 7-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was something
7-2,
big. I can't remember.
7-2, I think.
7-2 possibly. Anyway, to even get that back to 10-8.
It was unbelievable snooker from Neil Robertson.
Just a minute's appreciation for... I think he's in full flow. I think Neil Robertson's my favourite player to watch.
I think
he's so good. He's so good.
And I texted you as I was watching, and I said, Neil Robertson, by far, the best walk-on in snooker.
Best walk-on. Obviously, his nickname is the Thunder from Down Under, isn't it?
And obviously, Rob Walker announces him, and you get the thunderstruck coming in, and he's walking through the tunnel into the crucible, and you just start going, Thunder!
We can recreate it. 1 sec. I think we should... I'll cut this. Ready? So this is... And then we'll cut back in.
Right, I'll do the chants of thunder. Thunder! 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 It's so good, man. It's so good.
So good. It was good.
I'm gutted that he's out in the first round because I love Neil Robertson. But I'm gutted that he don't get to hear that again. Oh, like that, the one table setup, man.
Oh man, huge.
But credit to Chris Wakelin, he was really good over 2 sessions as well. So.
I've starred that game in my little book because it was the best game. Some other games, a moment of appreciation for someone that I don't think we've mentioned more than maybe popping him at right back. Mark Allen.
Yeah.
Played awesome. So I've watched a lot of this, and for my money, Zhao Jintong looks good, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, I think Mark Allen, which is it says that point about form is literally nothing, because he's been really not great. He's been literally wanting to not be in tournaments.
Exactly. Yeah. A few weeks ago, it was it the Tour Championship?
Yeah, Players and Tour. He didn't want to be
Players and Tour is like, I don't want to play. I'd rather he doesn't have I don't have a game or anything.
Well, he's taken inspiration, hasn't he, from Rory McIlroy winning the Masters?
Yeah. And
I think that there's a lot of similarities in that, to be fair. So Rory McIlroy, obviously, one, Northern Irish. Two, the Masters was the sort of big... I'm not into my golf that much, but it was like the equivalent of like the Triple Crown event that he had not won.
Yeah.
And obviously Mark Allen's won the UK's and the Masters.
Yeah.
And I think this is his 17th time at the Crucible.
Yeah.
And he's definitely good enough. He has the 100%, game.
100%, yeah.
He has the game. And also yesterday, I've not sat down and watched Mark Allen for 14 frames in a long time. And actually you realise, when he is in and amongst the Reds, he is just as good as anyone.
Yeah.
He's one of the best break builders on the tour. He's awesome. He really is awesome.
I managed to catch a little bit of it, and what I found interesting was the way he doesn't like to just go into the pack of Reds and break them up. He's really good at just picking the Reds off and developing the pack really slowly.
So he's like the opposite to me for Neil Robertson. So Neil Robertson doesn't really have the game.
I thought you were just going to say he's like the opposite to me. Isaac rattling into the pack as
I'd get the pack open, boys. Yeah. But that's a good. We'll get that on we'll get that one on Let's get the pack open.
Get the pack open.
But I like to think that Neil Robertson is so aggressive and such a crazy player that he doesn't really have the game to sort of, noodle in and around. He has good touch, don't get me wrong, and clearly with the stuff he's won, you have to. But he's a lot more aggressive, and his long potting's so good that he can sort of pot himself out of situations. Whereas Mark Allen, he doesn't get himself into those situations.
Yeah.
Because his cue ball's so good. On a string, boys. On a string.
I'll mention as well, very briefly, Sean Murphy started his Crucible campaign today. He looked really good.
Well, this is actually really
good.
Do you want to know who's had the most 50-plus breaks so far? Because that is, I've said this last pod, that's the way I think it's the easiest way to figure out who's playing the best.
Yeah, go on.
9 out of 10 for Zhao Jintong. So he won 10 frames, 9 of those were in one visit. That is genuinely quite nuts.
Yeah.
And then Mark Allen, 8 of those were in one visit, so 50-plus breaks. And Sean Murphy, even better than both, has won 7 frames.
Yeah.
And 7 of them were 50-plus breaks. Obviously, he's only won 7 frames, so there's 2 frames which he's sort of... I can't remember. There was one where Daniel Wells just potted a long red and Sean Murphy just broke off, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count.
I think Daniel Wells made a century off that. But
1-3-1 clearance, bless him. It's first time at the World Champions. That's a moment for Daniel Wells, obviously on debut. This is his... a long time ago, 16 years ago, he was 1 frame away from getting to the Crucible, and then dropped off the tour a few times.
Yeah.
So this has been a long battle for him, and for Daniel Wells, hope he doesn't mind me saying this, it isn't about winning. It's just the fact that he was there in the first place is an insane achievement.
Yeah.
And his name will always be on the 2025 World Championships, sponsored by Halo, which they're very keen about.
Yeah, there's a couple of games we haven't mentioned. There's obviously Zhang Anda against Pang Junju. I've not seen any of that, so I can't really comment.
I have. Bloody hell, it's tough watching that. That's the slowest one.
Yeah.
So obviously, already obviously slow because they only got through 8 frames. So that started at 2:30 and... Sorry, that started at 10, and they were only finished their 8th frame by 2:30. So Really quite slow. First frame was like 45 minutes. There is another game. There's 2 more games you haven't mentioned.
Well, the most exciting one
Wee
was
versus Dave Gilbert.
Well,
So
let's speak about that. That's
6-3 to CJ Wee.
Yeah,
Dave
that's
Gilbert
going to be concluding
didn't look that...
this evening.
But I think we both want to get onto the Iranian prince.
The Prince of Persia, Hussein Rafai.
Have you seen his winning break?
No,
so yeah, 10-9
I was it was last night, wasn't it? I was watching was it last night? No, it wasn't. It was the 19th.
It was on the other side of Robertson, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was watching the Neil Robertson match,
and I was definitely watching the Robertson game. Basically, if you didn't see it, or anyone hasn't seen it, or if you have seen it, you will have enjoyed it. Because it goes 9-9, Hawkins and Hossein Bafai. Hossein Bafai, by the way, made 4 centuries in that game. Barry Hawkins made 1, I think, so he probably was the deserved winner. And on about 51, honestly, just about 50, he pots a blue and goes, come on! But, like, honestly, is nowhere near we're done. Like, the game is not won. Like...
He's a bizarre man, isn't he?
He's such a weird dude. He literally screams like he has just won the World Championships, and he hasn't even won that frame. There's still like 20 points on before it. Like, it was so strange.
I mean, I feel like he's the type of person I really shouldn't like, but I can't help but just quite liking him.
Do you know what it reminded me of?
Because he does mad shit like that.
Do you know what it reminded me of? Like, it really did remind me of it, actually. So he's basically, in an essence, celebrated before that he's even won. Do you remember the Ross Barkley goal? Obviously, I'm a keen Everton fan, and even when he did that, as an Everton fan, I thought... So basically, Ross Barkley is through on goal, he's gone past the keeper, and he puts his arms up in the air before he puts the ball in the back of the net. And you're thinking, like, mate... Like, you're like a meme for the rest of your life if you don't get that in. Obviously, he did get it in, but you're still thinking, like, oh, come on. Anyway, but that's what Hossein Bafai did 2 nights ago, and it really made me laugh.
Shall we then... let's have a little prediction, man, because we...
There's before we predict, there's 3 more games that haven't started in round 1.
Yeah, that's true. One of them I've actually just put on now.
Yeah, Judd Trump, right?
Soon. Yeah, Judd Trump against Xiao Yulong.
I really do. I think Judd Trump must be licking his lips. Karen Wilson's out.
I will say nothing because we've not said our predictions yet. But the other games are Luca Purcell against Ryan Day and Mark Selby against Ben Wollaston. I think Mark Selby would be feeling a bit... I think I'll be feeling up for that. I think he'll beat Ben Wollaston.
Yeah. Then, I'd say the best game out of all 3 of them is Luca Brissell versus Ryan Day. That's a really good game. That'd
be a good one. Winner of that plays Ding in the next round.
So yeah,
you know me. I'm a big Ding fan. I really like Ding.
You are a big Ding fan. You're bigger than
I'd really like to see Ding win the World Championships.
There was in Joe Perry's opinion, which is not... I don't start many sentences like that. He's the greatest player ever to not win it.
I mean, the big answer, or like the most common answer for that is Jimmy White, isn't it?
Yeah, I
think I have said on a previous pod, aside from Jimmy White, I think Ding's the best player to have never won it. So, me and Joe Perry aren't that far apart.
They've both made the final. Obviously, Jimmy just a lot more times.
Yeah. Right.
Some predictions. I've got them all written out here in my lovely... Look at that for YouTubers. Lovely.
There
Beautiful.
You go, Ben. Well, I've just got it on the World Snooker Tour website. We do it for you.
I'll read you the game, and we're gonna have to predict this together. I want this as a cueless prediction, not your prediction and my prediction.
Okay.
We might have to compromise. Okay.
All right.
We'll take it gay by gay. We'll take it game by game. So, the first quarter-final spot, who do you think will get it? Li Pai Fan or Zhao Jintong?
I've got to go with my head against... I'd like it to be Li Pai Fan. I think it'll be Zhao Jintong.
Yeah, I really can see Zhao Jintong tearing Li Paifan apart almost.
I think it'll be closer than that. But I think we can agree on Zhao Jintong.
I really don't think Karen Wilson played that well. I know Li Paifan was very good, but I think if Zhao Jintong carries this on, I think it'll be quite almost like a oh shit. Anyway, we're going Zhao.
Yeah, we'll go Zhao Jintong there.
Next one would be Chris. Oh, it's a hell of a game. This Chris Wakelin versus Mark Allen.
Yeah, Chris Wakelin was very impressive.
Quite similar
against Neil
players.
Robertson.
Quite similar.
They are
players.
quite similar players. I enjoyed watching Chris Wakelin, but I think Mark Allen will win that.
I don't want to show my cards, but yeah, sorry, I'm not going to say anything. Zhang Anda or Pang is on the first one. So Zhang Anda or Pang Zhenshu, or sorry, you've got to pick
Pang.
one of these four players.
Yeah.
It'll be Zhang Anda or Pang Zhenshu to win their first game, and then it'll be Ronnie versus Ali Carter, and then out of those two, who do you think will make it?
I think Ronnie will beat Ali Carter.
I also think Ronnie will beat him. Will he beat Zhang Anda? I think Zhang Anda will win that.
You're going to go Zhang Anda. I think in the time between the matches, I don't think it's enough time for Ronnie to find enough of a long game.
Personally, out of all the Chinese players that he could have played, I personally think at this point right now, if he got Zhao Jintong, I think Zhao Jintong would win. If he got Ding, I think Ding would win. If he got who else is in it? If he got Zhao Guodong, I think they'd win. Yeah. But against either Zhang Anda or Pang, honestly, after watching today, I just think Ronnie's got he's got that class of '92 stuff that neither.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. I think the long game's going to be his problem. But
yeah, definitely.
He looked like he was starting to enjoy himself. I think that's a big thing.
Also, I think it's worth remembering he is Ronnie as well.
Do we say Ronnie then to go through?
I personally think Ronnie will beat either Zhang Anda or Pang Zhenshu.
I'm happy with that.
You know what I forgot about Ronnie? I forgot how easy he makes switching hands look.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts. It's like...
It is nuts,
It's
isn't it?
such an advantage. It's like such an advantage. I know people have talked about it, but you forget when you haven't seen him for a while how smooth he is with it. It's just like poetry to watch.
It is. It's really, really
You must not
impressive.
even think about it, really. It's just like, imagine being that free with both hands to play like that.
I mean, it used to be a lot more sort of... I don't know what the word is, but he used to just turn up for matches and just feel like, oh, I'm going to play left-handed today.
Yeah.
And that's mad. And he still steamroll people.
Yeah, I know.
No wonder people got a bit annoyed with him because he's beating me with his weak hand. Anyway, so the next one would be Mark Selby and Ben Wollaston against Sijai Wee or Dave Gilbert.
Yeah. Dave Gilbert didn't look that great.
Mark Selby to win against Ben Wollaston. Sijai Wee, I think, will beat Dave Gilbert.
Yeah, I think Selby will probably beat.
I think Selby would beat Sijai Wee.
That would be O'Sullivan versus Selby in the quarters, by the way.
Yeah. We'll come back to that, I suppose, then, won't we?
Yeah.
The next one, John Higgins against Zhao Guodong. I know who you're going to say there, then.
I think Zhao could win that. Yeah. John Higgins obviously going through a lot. Did you see him in the interview?
Yeah, he was really emotional.
Yeah, bless
actually,
him.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
it was quite moving.
Bless him.
But I'm happy to go with Zhao Guodong for that. Then he has been quite impressive recently. Looked good the other day.
Honestly, I was just looking through Zhao Guodong's draw, and I was thinking, tell you what, you've looked out there, mate.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this in a second. I think Zhao Guodong... I don't know. That's the closest one for me. John Higgins... He's in good form, he is.
I'll be honest, in terms of predictions, when I was thinking about it earlier, John Higgins was one of the people I thought Yeah, I think I fancy them to win it.
Really? Should we go John Higgins in that? You seem pretty strong on it.
I'd like to go John Higgins for that, yeah.
Alright, let's go John Higgins, because I'm intrigued to see what you think about the next one anyway. Hossein is a great game.
That is a
Hossein
brilliant game,
versus Mark Williams.
Hossein
Obviously, Mark
Bafai
Williams won't
against
care who
Mark.
he's playing and stuff, but like, it's...
No, he won't be bothered.
Mark Williams went back to his old break, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
The roll up behind the back of the pack break.
The polar opposite of Hossein Bafai against Ronnie.
Smashing
into him. Maybe he's a Cueless subscriber. Break the pack open.
Yeah, break the pack. I really, really see a world where Hossein Bafai wins that.
I was thinking the same thing.
I almost don't see a world where Mark Williams wins it. That's how. I don't know why.
I don't see that world.
I don't have a confidence in Mark Williams at the moment. I just think his game's a bit like...
There's always a chance that he'll win it, though. That's the thing.
You can never count Mark Williams out.
Like you just said, it's
also,
the same. It's the same with Ronnie. It's the same with John. There's just always a chance they're going to win.
Yeah, and I actually would even put Hossein Bafai in that. Like, he has like a just innate winner in him, but also like, my God, he can lose a match.
Yeah.
Well,
as you famously said a few weeks ago, he doesn't necessarily lose matches, but he doesn't necessarily win matches, but he didn't lose them either. There we go.
Proven, mate.
Yeah,
proven.
I'm happy. I'll agree with you, and I'll say Hossein. Yeah.
Then we've got Ding versus Luca Brissell or Ryan Day.
I think it'll be Brissell.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tough one to call that. Again, Luca Brissell is like maybe the closest thing we've got to Ronnie in terms of like, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like, it's before he won the World Championships, he'd never won at the Crucible. And his preparation...
He's only ever won a game when he won the whole tournament.
And his preparation for that was not playing for like a few weeks. He hadn't played before.
Yeah. So he's nailed it.
And then he kept... I saw an interview he did with Stephen Hendry on Q-Tips. He kept going back to Belgium throughout the World Championships.
Flew home
he'd fly
between
home.
Games.
Obviously, I don't condone that in terms of carbon footprint or whatever, but do what you have to do. I think Luca Brissell will beat Ryan Day.
You know, if he goes out first round in this, I think he'll drop out the top 50.
Yeah.
So obviously it's 2 years after his win. You get 500 grand for winning. If you look at his ranking money, it's like 600 and something.
Yeah.
So like a lot of that is the World Championships.
Yeah.
Do you think Luca Brissell will beat Ding though? Is the bigger question.
No, I don't think Luca Brissell will beat Ding.
Neither do I. I think Ding will win. Ding looked good. Ding looked really good against Security.
Ding looked really good, yeah.
And also withstood 4 centuries out of 5 frames from Security and still then went and made a century and won the whole thing anyway. And then, oh man, it's juicy. Judd Trump or Zhao Yulong?
Judd Trump.
Or Murphy. It's going to be Trump versus Murphy, isn't it?
It's going to be Trump Murphy.
Which is... It's quite a stressful watch as a Trump fan, I think that. Not the American Trump, putting that out there.
Oh, yeah, let's make that very clear.
Super clear. No one's clipping that up.
No. Judd Trump.
Judd Trump is one of the least English names for an Englishman of all time. Judd Trump. It sounds so American.
I don't think I've ever met a Judd.
No. Is it short for anything?
Judwood.
I don't think it is. Strange name. It's like Todd.
Judy?
Todd's not short for anything, is it? It's just short.
We've got a friend. We've got a friend called Todd who's quite short.
He's short.
He's taller than me.
Yeah, I mean, it's rich coming from you. Yeah. He is short. Yeah. I can firmly say he's short.
He does listen as well. Hello, Todd.
Good for you. Hope you're well, Todd. Hope you're well. So we've got Judd Trump.
We're going to play together at some point.
Soon. Yeah? I played the other day.
Not snooker, just... soft play.
Just like a play date. Your parents have set it up.
Yeah. We're going to go to a ball pit. We're going to play in the ball pit.
Nice. Yeah. I played snooker the other day, and I had a break of 24, and it was 3 reds and 3 blacks, and it felt lovely.
That is nice.
But on the third black, I was in that situation where it was either I have to do something with the cue ball here because there's no chance I'm finishing on a red, but there's a chance I'll miss the black, or I'll just pot the black and guarantee I'm not going to grab any position. I went for the black. I could have tried to do something.
That's not in the cueless philosophy of break the pack open. Let the boys breathe. Break the pack open.
I just went for the black, knowing full well that was break over. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean,
yeah. But I went for the black and a nice little break of 24.
I'd do the same if I was on 9 and I was onto the black, because that's my highest ever break. I'd just think, pop this black. Anyway, Murphy against Judd Trump. I'm going to back Judd Trump.
That is... Actually, Judd Trump just beat him 6-0, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I tell
you,
Murphy
he wasn't
good,
playing bad either.
Murphy looked good, though. But you forget, he's another one of those. I know he's Judd Trump, but you forget how good he can be.
Yeah. Judd Trump.
He doesn't love the Crucible, though. This is my conundrum with Judd Trump. Murphy fucking loves the Crucible. A little bit too much, I think.
Look, I'm not going to move on this. I think it's Judd Trump all day.
You think it's Judd Trump? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stick with you on Trump. That would mean our quarterfinals would be Zhao Jingtong versus Mark Allen.
Yeah.
Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Mark Selby.
Yeah.
John Higgins versus Hossein Vafai. I like how both of us have agreed that Hossein Vafai will make the final 8.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be biased from our left winger and our sub.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ding versus Trump.
Shall we start with Jingtong against Mark Allen?
Zhao Jingtong versus Mark Allen. Oh, man. I'd love it to be Mark Allen. I really would. I'd love it. I'd love the theatre of Mark Allen finally winning it. I'd actually, if I could give it to anyone, it would be Mark Allen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Ronnie for his 8th. It wouldn't be Selby for his 5th. It wouldn't be Hossein Vafai for mental history.
That would be mad.
It would be Mark Allen. I think he's been. I just would love him to win it.
That'd be absolutely mental if Hossein Vafai won the World Championship. I mean, I doubt he's listening. Sorry if you are, but Hossein Vafai winning the World Championship would be absolutely bonkers.
Bonkers.
Mad.
It is. That would
imagine
be bonkers.
Imagine Hossein being the world champion.
I will say it right now. If Hossein Vafai wins the World Championships, I will get a picture of his face tattooed on my arse. Is that the most fun place?
I'd like arse, yeah.
Arse is good. Yeah, I will. Because I think that I'm so confident that it won't.
Okay, yeah, I'll say Mark Allen. I think
I think I know which way we're both going to go on this. Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Mark Selby. I don't think he's got the game. I don't think he's got the game to compete.
No.
It's mad that we're saying that, but I don't think he does.
No, I don't think he does.
Selby's arguably he's as good as he ever has been.
Yeah.
It's quite easy actually when you get to this stage.
Mark Selby's a player who doesn't really give you much of an opening. His safety game is pretty spot on.
I don't think he would get anything in and around. Like he'd leave him.
No, and if you're relying on a long potting game to get you into that and get you in amongst the balls, Ronnie's not got it, and I think he's a way away from getting it.
He didn't look great, did he?
He didn't look great at all. Some of the balls he missed by like in snooker terms.
Oh no, he wasn't even like rattling the jaws. He was quite a way off.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go with that. John Higgins versus Hossein Vafai. I honestly think if John Higgins was looking through that drawer at all the people he'd want.
Yeah.
John Higgins versus Mark Williams. That I think he'd maybe feel quite good about that.
Mm-hmm.
Against anyone else, he might have felt pretty good. Hossein Vafai is such like a rogue player. I don't think anyone wants him in the draw.
I'm going to stop you right in your tracks there before
I
you
still
get
think
carried
Higgins will
away.
get. I still think
John
Higgins
Higgins
is
will
going to
win that.
But I even think Hosni Mafai's obviously beat Hawkins. John Higgins has come into this thinking, if I make it to the quarterfinals, I've probably got Williams or Hawkins. Right? Or Wu Yeezer. The last person he thought he was going to get was Hosni Mafai. Also, I'm saying this like he's already won it. Hosni Mafai has to beat Mark Williams first.
Yeah.
I think John Higgins will win that.
I think John Higgins as well. I'm happy with that.
Now, Ding or Trump?
Ding or Trump? Love them both. Judd,
yeah,
Trump.
big fan of both.
Love them both. Judd.
I think Trump will enjoy that.
Yeah, would be delighted to see either of them in the semi-finals, but Judd, I think.
I think that's a really good matchup for Trump. There's some players which I feel like could put a stop to Trump's sort of like, I don't know, he's quite chaotic, isn't he? He's got everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's so fast. He's so fast. He's got a great and insane long game.
He's making a very nice break as we speak.
Oh, nice. Good. Good to hear. Yeah. Is it still 0-0?
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so that would mean our semi-finals, let us know in the comments if you disagree, would be Mark Allen versus Mark Selby, the battle of the marks.
Yeah.
And then Higgins versus Trump.
Yeah.
It doesn't shock you that they're the four players that would... The one that actually does probably not read the best if you were coming into this blind is Mark Allen. You're thinking, how's Mark Allen got there instead of O'Sullivan, Zhao Shintong? Actually, I really do see a world... I just... Watching Mark Allen in the first round, I just thought, yeah, he looks up for it. He does.
That being said,
Selby.
I think Selby.
Oh, I'd love it to be Mark Allen.
I would as well. I really
think that's
would,
more hope than anything else.
I think so, and I think...
So we're going Selby.
I think it's Selby, and I think it'll be a Judd Trump Mark Selby final.
Okay, I can't see Higgins keeping Trump away for that long of a game.
No.
Judd Trump's too consistent for John Higgins over that period of time, I think. Yeah.
Judd Trump Mark Selby final. I think... my prediction coming into this was if you asked me who do you think is going to win the World Championships, I'd have said Judd Trump.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, if you'd asked me who would you like to see win the World Championships, I'd like to see Judd Trump win.
Yeah, I'd love him to get a second one.
I think it is. I think it is mad that he's only won one.
It feels like his time, I think.
And he's coming off the back of the most lucrative season in snooker history.
Yeah.
I think it just seems like the right time, and I think
Judd Trump in the first few rounds, if he can get through them, I'll agree with you. I think as soon as he gets to the one table setup, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But until then, I think it's a slightly different setup that he's used to. He likes his space. The crowd are very on you. You know, you sat next to your playing partner.
Just narrowly missed out on a century there. So.
Right. How many is he on? Is he still on 92? Obviously, 8 more and you'll get... if he does have a run to the final, I imagine he'll hit 8 more centuries. So.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's... I'm going to say Judd Trump to win.
I also think Judd Trump would beat Mark Selby over that long.
That's for cuelesspod prediction, then.
So, your prediction for the World Championship is Judd Trump.
Judd Trump, yeah.
And my prediction, I would like to make it very clear, is I think Mark Allen will win it. I do.
Okay.
I've got faith in him.
There we go. Then.
And again, I think that might be more hope than faith, but...
Yeah, I did like the look of Mark Allen, and I do get
he looked really good.
From. Yeah.
It just feels right, you know. It's the year
I think
of
even
if
that would be a final that I'd really enjoy watching.
Alan Trump,
because I wouldn't care who won. I'd like both of them to win.
Yeah, that's what you want. So either way, I think it'll be.
It's not like I remember the Brissell Selby won a couple of years ago, and I did really want Luca Brissell to win it.
Do you know what's on the cards, though, if they just win a few more games? A Hossein Vafai versus O'Sullivan final.
Oh, man. That would be the best.
Every single frame, they'll be smashing them up.
Oh, yeah.
It would be mad.
Break them up. Let the boys breathe.
Let the boys breathe. Yeah. That was your World Championship special.
Yes.
Where will we be next Tuesday? We'll probably be we're getting into the business end of the... I love when players say that. We're getting into the business end.
Business.
We're getting into the business end of the tournament.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, well, follow us on social media, on Instagram, because I'm sure we'll be posting little stories, updates, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Follow us on social media. Get in touch with any questions. Get in touch with your predictions.
Yes, cuelesspod@gmail.com.
Gmail. Yeah, cuelesspod@gmail.com, at cuelesspodcast on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yeah.
We do post over on TikTok as well.
We do. I posted my
promise.
first TikTok a few weeks ago. I think it's gone down like a lead balloon.
I posted a TikTok of me singing along to Gavin and Stacey video, and it got nearly 100,000 views. So
That's quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the range in our TikToks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have been Cueless Pod. How exciting that the World Championship is back. It just feels right.
Love it.
I've also been really ill over the last few days. I still am. Hence me eating the grapes all the time.
Me too. We've both been unwell the last few days. And
Yeah,
we've
both been unwell.
The World Championships has been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's so soothing. Controversial statement. I really don't like the theme tune. I know it's like classic.
Well, that's why that brings us back nicely to the start. Then that's why they've got Jules Holland on it.
Yeah, good. It needs a revamp.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank
you very much for listening to Cueless, and we will see you again next week. Bye bye.
Next week. Yeah. Keep watching. That's snooker.
That's snooker.